So hello guys, hope you all are doing well. So in this video, I want to make a quick breakdown because I've been getting a lot of comments on how I was able to catch today's buy, even though most people already know what I did here. So the first thing I need to do is to go to the higher time frame, which I actually started this analysis on the weekly time frame. So starting from the weekly time frame was where I kind of was observing what is happening there. So coming into this week, I knew that even if we are going to have a reversal, even if we are going to set to the downside, our nearest draw of liquidity, which is our nearest target, is our previous weekly high. So even if we are going to form a reversal, price is supposed to take out the high of our last week candle before forming any reversal. I've been always saying this. If you notice this bearish candle here, before this candle turned bullish, what happened? We took out the low of this candle before we turned bullish. Before this candle was able to sell, what happened here? We took out liquidity above. So mostly your reversals always happen after price has taken out your previous weekly candle high or your previous weekly candle low. So even if I'm anticipating a sell to happen, which I'm not even anticipating a sell, what I know is that my nearest draw of liquidity on this gold is my previous weekly candle high. That is where price can likely push up to. The same thing I always apply on my daily time frame. So this was the only thing I was able to identify. I was looking for this new candle to form the wick, then expand to the high of this last week candle. Now coming back to the daily time frame, I kind of use the same thing. Now looking at this daily time frame, I'm actually expecting some kind of a pullback, but looking at what we have at the moment, the market is not yet ready to make that pullback. So we just need to focus on what we are still seeing at the moment, which is what? Which is buy. Now looking at what we have here at the moment, the market is what? Is still printing bullish candles. So there is no much reason for me to sell while we are still printing much more bullish candles. So coming into the day, we have a bullish candle. So I was anticipating this new day candle to open from the wick of this candle, then expand to the upside. Now that was when I now dropped down to the 4 hour time frame. On this 4 hour time frame was where I was looking for a point of interest where the wick of my Monday candle is going to form before I will now trade the expansion to the upside. If you can see here, we have what? An FVG here. So I was anticipating this candle to form the wick of Monday candle inside this FVG. Now, when we form this wick of this candle, actually, whenever I'm trading on Monday, Monday is not even supposed to be my trading day. But whenever I'm trading on Monday, I always like to come to my chart during New York session because I know that mostly Monday is always dull and the market is likely going to move during the New York session. Now, coming into the New York session, there was no reversal, but this was what? My 10 a.m. candle. Now, I use the low of my 10 a.m. candle as my range, which is the accumulation. I expected the 2 p.m. candle to manipulate the low of this candle to the expansion to the upside. So during the New York session, when this previous candle manipulated this low of this candle inside this point of interest, was when I now dropped down to the 5 minutes time frame. I actually used 5 minutes time frame for this. What did I use on the 5 minutes time frame? I used the 5 minutes model one, the 5 minutes model one. After this bullish candle engulfed this bullish candle, was when I made my first entry. The second entry was after we had this bullish candle closure, indicating that we have already taken out liquidity below the low of this candle before the now expansion. The last trade I took here was actually when we had, I actually took a trade here this night. My target was somewhere here, which I just secured. One is about 1:5. What did I do here? I expected a new candle open. The same thing I applied on the weekly time frame, daily time frame is the same thing I use on the 4 hour time frame. We had a new candle open. I know that for this new candle to expand to the upside, we are supposed to form the wick of this candle where inside the point of interest, which is an FVG before the expansion. So after we formed the wick of this candle, I was looking for a CISD shift. So it was after we had this CISD shift above this level that I've considered that this low is going to be a valid low to hold price to the upside. That was when I now did what I now made my entry after this candle closure above this level, keeping my SS. Since this low formed inside this FVG, this low is supposed to be a protected low. I now made my entry above this level, keeping my stop loss below here. I think I shared the trade somewhere here. I have a screenshot of the trade. Hold on. So this was actually okay. So look at this. This was when I took the entry from here. This was the MT5 trade. Made the entry from here to this level, and this was the result. Now, coming back to this, the reason I kept my SA below this level was that this is a protected low. I've talked about this protected low on some of my videos. Any low that was formed inside an FVG before the closure above the CRV is a protected low. Any low that gets swept by that gets taken out by a previous candle and then close above your CRV is a protected low, which is valid for you to keep your SM. Now, reviewing what I did overall, I expected a new candle to open. Like tomorrow, I can apply the same method. If I'm expecting tomorrow candle to be an expansion candle, I will expect that candle to open, form the wick of the candle before the expansion. So it was at that moment that it's going to form the wick of that candle that I'm now going to align it with my 4 hour. Then with my 4 hour from 4 hour to 15 minutes for execution, targeting what my previous daily candle high. But actually, tomorrow I'll be looking for sell on gold. Why will I be looking for sell on gold? If you notice this time frame now, we already have an FVG here. So for us to have an FVG here, tomorrow is likely going to be a pullback day for us to continue higher. Now, what I'll be expecting is that I'll be expecting price to manipulate this high, give me some 4 hour bearish candle, and then I will align it with my 15 minutes targeting this FVG. Is from this FVG that I will expect price to continue pushing higher. So that is it. This is just a full breakdown of how I was able to catch the buy on gold. Thank you guys for watching. So let's call it a day.